This is the Palin Update on Saranet Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
You have the same still spine and the moral courage of Washington and Lincoln and Martin Luther King. It is in you. It will sustain you as it sustained them.
The always patriotic Sarah Palin features some patriotic music. A special episode of the Palin Update today. We are joined by a talented musician who just happens to be a longtime friend of Sarah Palin. And recently, Governor Palin recognized the patriotic music of Adele Morgan. We'll talk with Adele in just a moment. Amazing America with Sarah Palin continues to produce. A brand new Commonwealth Common Sense is coming up. And just ahead, our latest edition of Steel Resolve with Sarah Steelman. First, we welcome in Adele Morgan, whose music was recently featured on social media by Sarah Palin. The moving song, Strong for You. Adele Morgan, welcome to the Palin Update on Saranet Radio. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, we really appreciate you being here. And recently, Sarah Palin featured your great music online. She posted on Facebook your new video, Strong for You. Were you surprised by the recognition, or did she give you a heads up?
Well, she was very kind, and she texted me and just asked me if it was okay if she shared it. So, I didn't think she had enough friends, though, to qualify her sharing it. Joke. That was a joke.
I know. Those 90 million, whatever it's at, right?
Yeah, she said, hey, can I share this? It was really great, and I was really excited, of course, to have her share it and honored, and to her 4 million followers.
You know, whenever she posts music, I mean, it's just great stuff. Her cousin's band, Missing Stateside, we've heard from Madison Rising, which is a up-and-coming patriotic band, and then here you are. You just sound great. I mean, it's just great stuff all around, and the message, of course, the most important, and you see a theme here, obviously, with things that Palin supports, is patriotic music. And when posting your video, Palin wrote, "Please enjoy this uplifting tribute to all the brave fathers and mothers serving in our military. This song was written and sung by my good friend Adele Morgan, who I've known since elementary school. The video contains photos of military families, including my very own hero in uniform, my baby boy with his baby girl. Enjoy, and remember to keep our military families in your prayers. They sacrifice so much to protect our country." What gave you the idea, Adele, to include the photos in the video, and how did you come around to including Track and his little girl?
Well, the reason I wrote the song to begin with, it's one of the songs on my children's album, Dance and Dream. And I wrote the song because my daughter is married to a Marine, and she has 2 little kids. In fact, Sarah and I have grandchildren that are only about a month apart. So she emailed me when she found out I was going to be a grandma and was making fun of me, actually. Ha ha, you're going to be a grandma. But now we're both grandmas. So we are, and we're loving it. But I wrote this song because my son-in-law was gone a lot, and I can see how much sacrifice the moms and the kids make, and the men and women who serve. So both sides of the story. And then I decided that people would send me pictures of their families all the time and their kids, and I just thought this would be so great just to combine all of them and put them in a video with the song. And I'm such a visual person that it always helps explain the song a little bit better. So we did that, and Track and I have kept in touch over the years, and he's been my little buddy since he was a youngster. And I was first of all just looking for dads that were in the military that had daughters, because that's the way it is with my son-in-law. He has a little girl, and now he's a little boy. But I wanted to just try to think of who I knew, and so I just texted Track and said, "Hey, you have any pictures of you and your daughter?" And so he sent one over, and I told him, I said, "I'll keep it on the DL. I won't tell anybody who you are," because he's kind of behind the scenes kind of guy. And evidently, he let his mommy see it. And so it was all right with him that we shared that he was in the video after all. So that's kind of the story behind that.
Track taking after his dad a little bit, I guess, the behind-the-scenes man.
Yep. He's a support group.
You know, you made that point to honor not only our brave servicemen and women, but also their families. And they are really heroes, too, for the sacrifices they make, aren't they?
Yep, they sure are, and even the grandparents and the moms and dads, too, that are involved, because, we very much have to be supportive of our daughter when he's gone.
Now, a DVD is out now. Can you tell people how they can get their hands on it?
Yeah, the DVD is out now. It's not quite up on my, it's actually here, so if they want to do it the old-fashioned way, they can message me. But we're going to have it on my website this week, and it's going to be up hopefully this week for everyone to purchase. But they can just message me on Facebook if they would like.
And that website, Adele?
Well, my website is adelemorgan.com. And so they can download the actual song on iTunes. They can buy the CD at Amazon, iTunes, and my website.
You've known Governor Palin a long time. What can you tell us about her as a child when you were kids? I mean, was she always so nice and intelligent and athletic, and did all of this promise already shine through at a young age, as I'm sure yours did, being such a talented singer? Or were you just a couple of goofy kids and nobody knew that you were going to be so important later in life, the two of you?
I think the latter. We had a lot of fun together. She and I were quite the jokesters, actually, and we have quite a few of those kind of stories. But no, I mean, she's always been very smart and very much a go-getter. We were both on the basketball team. We were on the Westella basketball team together. She was a freshman and I was a sophomore, and I was on the bench on varsity, and she got moved up on varsity, so we're both sitting next to each other, and we were just so humiliated because for pictures we had to wear the really ugly uniforms, and the rest of the starting five got to wear the nice ones. So in our yearbook, you can kind of tell that we were kind of missed because we had the ugly uniforms.
That's great.
But it's fun. We've had a lot of fun times together when we were growing up, and even when we were young moms, and I've just always appreciated her ability to wake up this country and the conservative movement and wake up the sleepy people that have not been involved in politics over the years. And so I appreciate all the things that her platform and that she stands behind, and what the Republican Party is really supposed to be standing behind.
Listen, don't feel bad about the uniform thing. They did that to the guys, too. I remember, like freshman year, you'd get these old, shoot-around shirts that were just,
Yep.
worn and whatnot. And here are the varsity starters, the seniors. You got these brand-new uniforms. And you're like, oh, yeah, we'll get those in 2 years when they've already worn them.
Yeah, that was the case. Yeah, pretty funny picture.
Now, you said Sarah Palin and yourself jokesters. I mean, I think that just comes across now. I always say, when people say, why do you support the governor so much? One of the things I say, other than the fact that I want someone like that to be in a leadership role for my children, especially my daughter, to emulate, but also I always just say, I think she's just a very ordinary person who's extraordinary. And it comes across when you talk not only to her, but to Todd, to her parents, to Chuck Jr., to Bristol, whoever you want to mention. You talked about track. I mean, they just come across as that American family. And, of course, one great part of a wonderful American family is having fun and laughing and joking around. So I'm not surprised by that assessment, Adele.
That is for sure. She used to say when she would tell me something and she'd really want me to be for sure she was telling me something that she wanted to promise, she would say "Pie Spy." I don't remember why. And then we'd do like a little pinky swear and we'd say "Pie Spy." And I remember during her run for governor, I said, so you're going to really do this thing and do it right, huh? And I said, "Pie Spy." And we just had a good time laughing and doing the pinky swear.
Well, I mean, and you got to love things like that, because not just yourself, but all these other people who she's been friends with for so long. It doesn't matter, I mean, this is the only Republican woman to ever be on a national ticket. She's in a class all her own, and who does she stick with? The people who've stuck with her, and I think you see that in her family, how open and how honest and how caring they all are. It's just a wonderful thing to see that people can learn from, aside from politics, which she's on the ball on, of course, and leadership and all of those things, and just the values and the way she carries herself, and you can see it comes across when you see friends like Adele Morgan. Now, let's talk a little bit more about you, Adele Morgan. How'd you start your career, and what's the latest on the musical front?
Well, I started really bugging my sisters by singing a lot around the house. And I guess the thing that launched the professional career is that I I had a friend enter me into a contest, and it was a local contest here, but the trip was a trip to Nashville. So I won the contest, and from then on, I've just honed my abilities in songwriting and just kind of sung wherever I possibly could, but I always wanted to have a purpose with my music. In fact, one of my slogans is music that inspires change. And so I speak at a lot of charity events and things that I really believe in. For instance, a lot of veterans events, and I'm a diabetes advocate. I'm also a type 1 diabetic, and I was a former national spokesperson for Medtronic, and they are a company that makes an insulin pump, and I wear an insulin pump. And I also do women's conferences. I take all of those things very seriously, and I'm always honored to be able to sing and move people to make changes in their lives.
I think you may have touched on this a little bit there, but why do you tend to sing about things like military and patriotic themes? You just have that love of country that we see from Governor Palin and so many Americans, across this exceptional nation. It's just that love of country. Is that what it is? And the fact that you have people personally out there on the lines for us?
Well, when I was in second grade, I did a poetry contest and won it, and it was on our flag. It was the flag song contest, and it really made me delve into what liberty really means. And as a young person, when you grow up in a country like America, you cannot really appreciate what it would be like without our liberties. So that's what sparked my interest to begin with. And then as I grew, I just, I love to understand our country and what, I love history, for one thing. I love our Constitution. I started really studying that, and just from then on, being involved with military people in our family, just to see what it really takes to make this nation great and keep it that way. And I speak at a lot of churches, and I'm very, very, very much involved in our churches, trying to continue to keep God in our country. That's how we started. And when if you read Scripture, anytime God's people went away from Him, it was not a good deal. And I just really am praying and hoping that our country will continue to be a country under God, one nation, to stay the great country that we are in the world.
Well, Adele, you are very talented, and we appreciate you being here. And one more time, let's tell people how they can get the DVD, and also tell us your website. Well, the website is adelemorgan.com, and you can buy the CD, Dance and Dream. That's my new project out. It's the children's album that has the songs Strong for You on it. We will try to have that DVD available to purchase online. If you want it right away, you can always message me through my website or through my Facebook page, Adele Morgan. And I also have things on iTunes and Amazon. All right, sounds good. And visit AdeleMorgan.com. That's AdeleMorgan.com. And to see what Governor Palin had to say about Adele Morgan, and to see Adele's video or any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page and follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA. Amazing America with Sarah Palin has been a hit on the Sportsman Channel. Recent episodes have included a pirate hunter, taxidermy, armored vehicles, and a fire academy. More new episodes are on the way. Don't miss Amazing America with Sarah Palin. Really a unique program on the Sportsman Channel Thursday nights.
It's time for Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson and Kevin Scholla.
And in this week for Susan Stimson is Andrew Kramer. He covers sports. He's a sports producer and an all-around good guy. Hi, Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing great, especially after that introduction. How are you, Kevin?
Doing well. Thanks so much for doing this. We appreciate it. Now, a lot going on in sports today, and it really moves into the political realm, too. Sarah Palin has talked about this a lot, and we've seen a lot of things happen recently that I don't know we would have seen in years past. Guys maybe getting status that maybe they wouldn't have got because of their off-the-field lifestyle. For instance, Michael Sam, who came out as a openly gay college player, now is almost covered on some of the networks all the time. You have Jason Collins, the gay NBA player who, has made a career of not producing. He only scores about 1 point a game, yet the Nets went out of their way to go sign him. So do you think these guys are actually getting ahead in their athletic career because of their off-the-court and off-the-field lifestyle?
Yeah, it would almost seem so, wouldn't it? I mean, you look at Sam, who I guess it was February when he came out, and all of a sudden that was the talk of the town. It kind of winded down a little bit, but now with the draft coming up, you're going to hear a lot more about Michael Sam, where he's going to go. And the thing about him is Sam's not going to be a first-round draft pick. He never was going to be. But you look at all the first-round draft picks, and Sam seems to be the household name now. He's the guy everyone's talking about. He's the guy, if you go to the average NFL fan, you ask him who's going to be the 15th pick, they probably don't know. But they all know who Michael Sam is. And, yeah, it's because he came out as being the first, or what will likely be the first openly gay football player in the NFL.
And, if he's good enough to play, I mean, he had a great career in the SEC. If he's good enough to play, shouldn't that be what they're judging him on? And then if a team wants to bring him in, great, and go out and play. And if he's not good enough to play, then you need to cut him or need to get rid of him or be a backup. But it seems you're going to have teams now, for all sorts of issues, have to worry about how they handle people because how it's going to be perceived about why did you sign a guy or why did you cut a guy. It's really goes against everything sports is supposed to be about. The best people are supposed to be on the field, not for other reasons.
What's going to be interesting is what if he does get drafted in, say, 4th, 5th round, wherever he's projected to go, and what if he is struggling out of the gate? Is the team going to cut him, or are they going to fear what the repercussions are going to be if they do? That's what I'm kind of interested to see. He's going to have a spotlight following him around for a majority of his career, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, who knows? And he might be a great player, and if he is, hopefully he has a wonderful 10, 15-year career. But unfortunately, the spotlight is always going to be that now he's the first openly homosexual player.
And meantime, you see these polls about how the locker rooms don't care. I think a lot of those polls are really skewed. I think they talk to who they want to talk to get the answer. But, another thing I thought of, too, Martin Luther King, a big hero to Sarah Palin, you look at his message about how you should be judged on your character, not your color. And now you see this here. It's not color, but it's sexual orientation. Same thing. Or, when you criticize Obama, people call you a racist. I mean, doesn't all of this go exactly against what Martin Luther King fought so hard for, saying you judge people on, and like we said, with Michael Sam, you want to judge him on football? Great. He shouldn't be out of the league because he's gay. No one's saying that either. But it seems he's being propped up because he is. So, they're going against everything really that was fought for. And the other thing you want to talk about in Martin Luther King, we just passed the Jackie Robinson anniversary of integrating Major League Baseball on April 15th. And I just can't stand it when people try to compare Michael Sam or Jason Collins to Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson, who went through so much. He's clearly a black man. There was no way around that. There have been gays in sports already for years. You can be gay and have no one know about it or have only a few people know about it and get through and have a career. Whereas back in the old days of baseball, if you were black, you were not allowed to play. So I think that is just unbelievable when people try to compare Sam or Collins to Robinson.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate thing that you're hearing so often now. And Jackie Robinson did not choose the color of his skin. He's an African-American, and he had to break those barriers. Michael Sam, that's great that he came out the way he did. But the comparisons between Sam and Jackie Robinson, you just don't want to hear it all. And unfortunately, with the timing of everything, Jackie Robinson month and the NFL draft coming up, unfortunately, you're going to hear plenty of those comparisons.
All right, now for fun stuff real quick before we go. NHL and NBA playoffs underway. Who do you like? I know you said the Canadiens, right? Wasn't that your original pick? And here they are off to a great start. So what did you say to me when you picked them? You said anybody can win in hockey, so I'll go with them, and so far so good.
Anybody can win in hockey, and I was kind of joking when I said the Canadiens, but you know what? After the start they had, I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna say they're gonna win it all this year.
The lone Canadian team in the NHL playoffs. And as far as the NBA, are we looking at another Heat three-peat, or is there a chance for anybody else to knock them off?
No, there's a chance for them to get knocked off. They're, of course, going to beat Charlotte. They're going to, without a doubt, go to the Eastern Conference Finals, where probably in the East, the only team you're looking at is the Pacers to maybe knock them off. But I think out West, the Thunder, I think the Spurs, I don't think the Heat are going to three-peat this year. And on a personal note, I certainly Hope they do not either.
I agree with you on that. Hey, don't count out the Bulls or the Nets. We'll see what happens. All right, Andrew Kramer in for Susan Stimson this week. We really appreciate you being here.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Anytime.
Andrew Kramer in for Susan Stimson this week. More Commonwealth Common Sense next week. Now, our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. We in the political world talk a lot about power, the power to do this or that. Power comes in many forms. The political world is mostly full of power derived from holding an office or a lot of money. The power that most significantly and permanently transformed the world, however, came in the form of God's Son, Jesus. His power came in the form of a cross. The stone was rolled away and the tomb was empty. Jesus had risen from the dead, resurrected. He had changed history. And he is still changing history through the power of his grace. Jesus transforms us into new beings. His forgiveness allows us to be free of sin. His love teaches us how to love each other. There is no greater power than that of love. You know, this winter has been particularly brutal, and that's why this year's spring is exceedingly beautiful. And Jesus takes us, ugly with sin, and transforms us into something exceedingly beautiful. That's the power that changes the world. That is the celebration of Easter. In the political world, love is rarely shown to each other anymore in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes I wonder if things would change if people had the courage to love one another. That doesn't mean there wouldn't be differences, but perhaps treating each other with genuine care and kindness would send a more positive message. I vote we give that a try and find out how the world can really change. This is Sarah Steelman for SarahNet Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Commonwealth Common Sense and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to SarahNetRadio.net, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio. Visit SarahNetRadio.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also follow along on Twitter at SarahNet Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Susan B. Stimson, and at Sarah_Steelman. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Just go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. We have some changes coming to SarahNet Radio in the coming weeks, all exciting and positive. Please stay tuned for the very latest. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Susan Stimson, Andrew Kramer, and everyone here at SarahNet Radio. Thanks to Adele Morgan. And thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.